Greetings, envoys, Kato here, with a guide to Avowed, this time going over the Totem of WAEL.
Wow.
Excuse?
You're asking me, a devotee of WAEL? We'd be here all day.
Okay, call me Kato for this guide then. This totem and its pieces can be collected in Shatterscarp, which is the third zone of the game. And just like the other totems you can set up at your camp, once it is completed, it can grant a total of 6 passive effects to your character while active. And for this one, we will be doing a Kato sweep. There is no quest limitations related to collecting the pieces, and this route is in fact so efficient that if you're going for the Shatterscarp bounties at the same time, you'll be able to catch all 5 of those along the way too. So those will be marked on the map for our route as well. So like usual, we'll be going for the totem base first because we need something to attach all the pieces to, and then as we go for the rest of the pieces, I'll be sharing the effects each of them grant. So let's shake up the desert and collect the Totem of WAEL. We'll be starting our route from the Eagle's Reach Party Camp, which is the first camp you should see when you enter Shatterscarp. And pretty much anywhere on the side of Shatterscarp, if you look to the south, you should see this giant salt crystal formation, which is where we need to go for the base of the WAEL Totem. This will take us along the western side of the ancient lake bed, where we will also pass the first of the bounty targets. Then underneath the giant pink crystal formations, you'll hit a small platforming section that is facing the ocean, watch your step, which will lead you further down into a cave, marked by a couple torches. Follow the pleasant natural lighting, and this will eventually open up into a large chamber where, unless you came in backwards, you will see the pedestal directly ahead of you and can take the Eyes of the Obscured from it. There's also a unique ring in the cage nearby. The first of the 6 pieces we are to place on the statue of WAEL is actually not far from where we pick up the base. And from the pedestal where you picked up said base, we can take the passage to the north to lead us back outside, where we will locate the Ruby Eye being guarded by the ward of the eye, and who I learned the pronunciation of WAEL from. The ward will speak to you regardless of if you picked up the eye or spoke to them first, and present you with an existential question as payment. The Ruby Eye, when its effect is active, causes Second Wind to cast Shadowing Beyond, which is the stealth or invisibility skill found in the Ranger tree. For the next totem part, we're actually going back towards the ancient lake bed, to the eastern side of it where this rocky overhang is. In the shady shelter of this rocky overhang, you may find a mourning Thirdbornian, which has a short side mission, but near where you find her, you may also find on this flat rock the Amethyst Eye, which has the effect of restoring essence, also restoring a small amount of health, while the WAEL totem is active. Man, this is the worst. For the next part, we've got a bit of a run now, emerging from the ancient lake bed to the main road towards Thirdborn, where you can snag the camp location and the quests in the town if you haven't already, and continue east into the Great Sand Sea. Our objective will be on the edge of the map, past the rock formation with the highest elevation, where you can also find the Zarep bounty target, but behind this imposing Zarep camp, you may find a little greenery surrounding an oasis. Take a little dip in the water, and almost dead center underneath the water in this oasis, you may find the Sapphire Eye, which has the effect of critical hits dealing high random accumulation. That's any status as far as I can tell. So bleed, poison, frost, fire, shock. So this might be pretty intense if you have a high crit build. And while you're down in the water, you can grab the Trickster's gloves from the skeleton in the broken sarcophagus too, which are a direct improvement from the Blackwing gloves and also have a focus on crit. I'm sensing a theme. After a refreshing dip in the oasis, we will now be heading north across the Great Sand Sea to another imposing structure called the Sand Sea Ruins, not far to the north. If this is your first time here, you may notice that the front door of this place is barred on the inside, inviting us to climb up the stairs on the north side, encountering some Zarep residents minding their own business, and parkouring up the scaffolding to get around the back side of the main structure. Now, once you've entered the opening of the main building, you'll want to leap to the platform halfway down, and going inside the small nearby chamber, where you'll find a chest and the Agate Eye sitting on top of a table. And the Agate Eye's effect says activating a level 15 or level 20 ability grants plus 5% damage reduction for 10 seconds. And now, if you jump down to the ground floor, you'll be able to unbar the door for easy entry if you need to come here for any other reason related to a Thirdborn quest. For the next part of the WAEL Totem, we'll be heading northwest, passing a 2-for-1 deal on bounty targets into the southern gateway of Shark's Teeth. Once you start seeing Pargrunan structures, you may be surprised to find out that the gemstone is not in any of them and is actually sitting outside somewhere. So if you're hugging the eastern side of Shark's Teeth and head up the wide stairs and pathways to come upon this half-finished statue, the scaffolding and ladder will take you all the way to the top, where we'll find the Emerald Eye glinting in the sun. Almost as if this totem complements itself, the effect of the Emerald Eye is a straight 5% bonus to critical hit chance. After you've picked up the Emerald Eye and you glance down to the southwest of you, you may notice a skeletal bounty target too. There's also just a lot of treasure tucked away here, including the Pargrun cache, and so I figured I'd mention that too. For the next part, we're in for probably the longest run, but there is a lot to see along the way too, so I'm trying to leave room for sightseeing here. If we head northwest from our previous location, which was the unfinished statue, we will be hitting the Shark's Teeth party camp, and if we go west along the top of these ruins, encountering some specters if you've got sticky fingers, get the checkpoint at Togo's Tower, and then go on to the passage that takes us west into the Deadfall Highlands, where we get a beautiful shot of the godless ruins here. And if you are so enticed to walk towards those godless ruins, you will also find the final of the bounty targets just ahead of you. The totem piece, however, is a little further to the southwest, at Leviathan's Hollow, another Zarup encampment with its stone entryway carved into the shape of a Leviathan skull. These landmarks are awesome, aren't they? Swim into the watery entrance, and we'll first want to go to our right to put our feet on some semi-dry land, and follow the north edge and hop up a couple wood platforms to this stone staircase that leads into a back chamber that greets you with a menagerie of colorful flora. On the table in here, just behind the corpse of a Thirdbornian, you should find the Topaz Eye, which provides the effect of +2 intellect and +2 perception while the totem is active. So once you're done here, and there's quite a bit to explore still, the great part about this totem run is the end also is capped off by a campsite, which is just south of Leviathan's Hollow, so you can go claim that campsite if you haven't already, and place your Totem of WAEL, get some of that lore, and have another totem with all of its wild effects to choose from. So are you enticed by this wild card of a crit totem? Or are you sticking to Skane and Wotica? Please let me know in the comments. And of course, if you are looking for the other totems, I plan to cover the last one for Gallowayne and have guides to the 2 previous ones as well. You can find here on screen or in the description, as well as some tips and tricks and probably some other stuff. If you found this guide useful, entertaining, or both, please do whatever you see fit to show that. Among the ways you can is by supporting on Patreon, like the precious gemstones on screen now, including Wasteland Legends, Sven, and Rose. Thank you so very much for watching. I'm Cato, and your expedition to the living lands awaits.